Thank you. It's great to be here, and it's particularly great that the lottery had the opportunity to be a sponsor of this event, because the Oregon Lottery, and many of you know it in different ways and different fashions, but it is the second largest revenue producer for the state, and the largest share of that money goes to education, particularly K through 12 and community colleges. It wasn't always that way. Initially, the money was all dedicated to economic development, because what was 30 years ago next month was when we adopted a constitutional amendment passed by the voters to set up the lottery. And at that time, we were in a terrible recession, and all the money was dedicated to economic development. And it was actually in Governor Kitzhaber's, the first year of his first term, when he supported sending out to the voters a constitutional amendment to allow the money to also go to education. Now, if you remember, this was 1995, 5 years after ballot measure 5 had passed, and 2 years after we had had a big battle over a sales tax, which went down to defeat. And as a result of that, today, the lottery is the second largest source of revenue for schools, particularly K-12 and community colleges, who lost so much in the property tax support that they had traditionally had. And to this day, it remains the only major replacement revenue we have adopted as a state for the property tax that we lost. Not only are we able to help support the day-to-day operations of our schools, but we've discovered that we can use the lottery as a source to back bonds that have helped with new construction. And that's particularly been important on this campus, where we have seen the growth and the renovation and the expansion, and our downtown campus. And just this July, once again, the bond rating agencies rated our lottery-backed bonds the highest rating in the country. That gives us resources to do a lot of good things, and that's why it's, to me, it means so much to be here. But it also helps because I have spent more than a decade now as part of the Lane Community College Foundation. And there I've been able to see from the inside how hard people work to make sure that our commitment as a community to the community colleges continues. And the things that we have been able to do during difficult economic times are the best evidence, I think, that what we're doing here at LCC is understood and appreciated by the people who live here. And when you think about this, and Governor Kitzhaber touched on it a little bit, but I think really he deserves a lot of credit for the model that he has come up with for how we tie education to preparing the workforce of the future. And he has his 40-40-20 plan, where 40% of our workforce we expect to come out of higher education, four-year colleges, but another 40% comes out of the community colleges, and 20% are those who only have a high school education, but that means everybody falls in one of those, so that we don't leave anybody behind. And what's important when we think about the community colleges is the role that we play in all of those brackets. The 20% who are going to just have an education from our high schools need to have the skills that apply to the workforce. And in fact, for several years, I was sitting on a committee here that included business people and the educators from all the school districts in the area, how we can work with Lane Community College to get some of the skills that we can provide kids from the community colleges and get them into the high schools. Prepare people for work and for a future. And for those who leave with a high school education and either unable or uninterested in getting another degree, still need those to refresh their skills and get their training, and that's what community colleges do. So we're as much involved in the 20 as we are in the middle 40. And then the other 40, where we have people who are going on to four-year colleges and universities and even grad school, a lot of them start right here at Lane Community College. And some of them start in a four-year college, it's not working for them, they've got to go back, need some help. This is where they get the opportunity to turn that back around and go forward. So we are dealing with the entire 100% of the workforce that we're preparing for the future. And that's the kind of vision that we all need to have and need to share and keep being reminded of as we think about what role do we play going forward in the future. And I'm certainly very proud to be a citizen of Lane County. I'm proud, it's like Governor Kitzhaber, to growing up here. He went to South Eugene, I went to Shelton. But still, we all share, we share a common vision of how we make this community. What's funny is that when I was there, South Eugene had a good football team, and we had the academics. So I don't know what happened, how that got changed. But in looking at all this together, that's why in community college the emphasis is on community. Some places in the country they call them junior colleges. I think community college is the better description of what we do. And in that regard, now I want to make sure I get this right because I've been given all this. But my friend Don Rayner, who is the current president of the Lane Community College Foundation, is also executive vice president at Ferguson Wellman Capital Management. He's an Oregon native. He attended Lane Community College and the University of Oregon. He's also a past trustee for the Oregon Independent College Foundation and past chair of the March of Dimes Lewis and Clark chapter. And he is now going to help us recognize some of the great alumnus that we have created out of this college. Don.